Hey everybody, my name is Mike Langford. Welcome back to the channel. I'm a music producer, engineer, and mixer based in Toronto, Canada. Welcome back to Let's Mix Live, where I live stream some mix sessions using Pro Tools from start to finish, warts and all, showing examples of what could be done during a modern mix production. There's 101 different ways to make music sound great. I'm here not to show you what you should do, but what you could do. So let's get started. Hope everyone's having a good start to their week. So far, so good over here. There's always technical issues to deal with. Started a new song last week on Thursday morning when we're here Mondays at 7 p.m., Thursdays at noon or 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Started a new song. Band is called Bosnian Rainbows, and song is called Morning Sickness. For those that aren't familiar with the band, Omar Rodriguez Lopez is the guitarist in Bosnian Rainbows. He's also the guitarist, and I do believe the co-founder of the rock band, the Mars Volta. If you're a rock fan and you don't know who the Mars Volta is, I highly recommend checking them out. They're one of my favorite bands. They're original to say the least, but they have a lot of vintage styles, vintage vibes to what's going on, but with a modern take. I can never remember how to pronounce their debut record, but that's the one. Start there. Hit play on the first Volta record and listen to that if you're a rock fan. So, where I get these sessions from, there's a site called Cambridge Music Technology, and they have a bunch of multi-track recordings up there for educational purposes. And that's where I'm getting this from. I was scrolling through. I've shortlisted about a dozen different sessions right now. And when I saw Bosnian Rainbows on there, I was like, really? And then I checked it. And I'm like, yep, that's legit. That's the band. So it got pushed up the queue because I really wanted to mess around with it, because there's a few things that I thought we could dig into, not just from a recording aspect, because I've said a couple times on the show, well, many times, if you're a new mixer and you're looking for things to practice on, that site's amazing. But also if you're an engineer, if you're a new engineer, it's really, really helpful to look at some other sessions, how they were tracked, some of the sounds they got, and also with some of the mixes, because there's sometimes you hear a mix and you're like, this is amazing, and you hear the tracking and you're like, the tracking was okay, but the mix is amazing. And the other way around too, sometimes you hear a mix and you're like, that sounds pretty okay, and then you hear the tracking and you're like, the tracking was really good, so I don't know really what happened here, sort of thing. So excellent resource that way. I will stop with let's see, Mike Patterson's here. I'll start with the chin wagon. It's one of his favorite sayings. And I'll switch over to Pro Tools here. So where we left off last week, just looking, just made my initial notes. We did go through and sound replace, but we dropped some samples in for the kick and snare. I was just missing a couple things. This song is a live session because at the end of it, there was some applause. And that was another thing that I was kind of curious about when I saw what was going on with the session here, because over on this side, over on that side over there, there's a whole bunch of people clapping and enjoying the show. So that didn't make the final cut. I don't know if this is the song that this version actually made it onto the record, but this song has been released. So I was curious about that, but there's a lot of bleed in like everything. We have 3 tracks for drums. We have kick, snare, and hi-hats. There's no real overheads to work with. That being said, there's no crashes, I don't think. There's no crash cymbals. There's no toms, no rack toms or floor toms. So I wanted to add some samples in so we could lean on those a little bit to help give a little bit of separation, because there's just bleed in everything. There is a keyboard as well. There's no bass, but there's keyboard bass stuff going on. There's a synth pad going on. And then of course the guitar. And the guitar, trying to find the way to word it. There's a little too much action going on in the upper, mid, and upper frequencies. It's harsh. It sounds harsh, which is okay, because if you're tracking, sometimes you just have to deal with the sounds that the guitarists give you, and there's a lot of whiz bang stuff going on. with some of the guitar stuff. So it's a little bit harsh, so we didn't want to deal with that today. And then the vocal, there was lots of bleed into the vocal as well. And there's a few spots where I thought maybe we can dust over it with Melodyne and just kind of give it a nudge. And with the amount of bleed that's going on, you need to be particularly mindful, because if there's guitars or something else in that vocal, you need to make sure you're just moving the vocal. You're not moving anything else, because that's going to add some pitchiness and some kind of phaser weirdness stuff. So the disclaimer, because we are doing some mixing and we are messing around with frequencies, and I'm sweeping around. So be mindful of your levels, just in case. You're listening on headphones, you're listening on speakers, or you've got a line array system in your basement. You know who you are. Just be mindful of the levels that you're listening back. Only thing I've done since we left off last time is I've made our 1K test tones active again. And just to check our levels, sending out to have a mixer here. Microphone goes in there, Pro Tools goes in there. So that's the only thing I've done so far. So I'm going to make those hidden and inactive again. So my first thing that I would do is I'm going to save as, because we're going to start a new day here. So we're mix prep. We're going to say mix prep 4. I don't feel like we're into mixing yet. That was a question last time, not last time, but a couple episodes ago. What point do I feel like I'm mixing? Well, when I change it from mix prep to usually reference REF and then the date. Oh, happy Pi Day, everybody. March 14th. 3.14. So usually when I switch it over to ref and then the date and then the version number, that's when I feel like I'm mixing, because I'm like, okay, this sounds pretty good to me. So hopefully we can get to that point again today. I'm going to get my trusty, just barely fits on my desk notebook here. I used to have a whole bunch of like half the size notebooks to these, but I can't find them anymore. You know what? Well, I do find them, and I do believe I will find them. I do believe in the powers and the laws of attraction, and I'm going to attract those better sized notebooks for my desk here. So first thing I like to do is just go through and have a listen. I have the vocal muted here. I'm a little bit, might unmute that. Just as we're listening through, make some notes, see what's fresh today, and then we will start digging in. But I have a feeling we're going to work on some vocal prep, and we're going to work on that guitar, because I think that there's a couple things we can try to do to tame that guitar. Tame that guitar. Tame Omar Rodriguez Lopez's guitar. All right, let's going to have a listen through. There's like 45 seconds of intro on this as well. Highly don't recommend 45 minutes of intro for a lot of bands these days. Actually, I encourage 45 seconds of less song for most bands these days. Sometimes even a minute and a half less song. There's some stuff we can do here too. I have no idea what the drums are going to sound like. They might be crazy loud. Nope, not bad. Not bad. I'm liking that snare drum. I know it's supposed to be quiet right now, but... Okay. It's always good to have a listen through. I don't know why he's playing guitar there, I guess. I guess because you can. He's just going to. So I made my notes here. Got the trusty pet hospital pen here and trusty notes here. The intro, there's some movement we can probably put there. Maybe just melt the guitar again, like duplicate it, and you can just add some panning and stuff like that. I have an idea for the drums now. So just made a note, float on drums, because I think there's some things we can do to reel in that drum sound even more. But I was liking it. Fresh ear is always good. Dynamics on the drum fills, mainly the kicks. I think we could bring down the samples on the kicks just in case, because the kicks are a little bit loud in some of the drum fills, and I don't think they necessarily need to be there, but a little bit happy feet. So we can just knock those down a little bit. Prep the vocal. There's a couple spots we can just brush over with Melodyne. I always remember after the fact, I'm like, I should have just run it through Melodyne while I was listening through. Rebalance. There's some things happening with the keyboard, so I think we need to rebalance that a little bit, but that's not uncommon. I'm constantly rebalancing things. Bridge, we could add some movement into there because we have like the solo-y section and then when the vocals come in. And I just find by the time we get to the vocal part of the bridge, lack of a better term, I'm bored. So maybe there's something we can do to kind of spice that up a little bit. And then just tighten up some of the times where the kick and the snare, like the 4 on the floor and the kick and snare hitting at the same time. We can tighten those up. Does it make sense time and space physics-wise? No. Does it sound better? Yes. So you can just kind of line up those kicks and snares a little bit. Patterson's asking, did you watch the Apple conference last? I did not watch it. The only thing I wanted to know about the Apple conference is, are they releasing new Mac Minis? And they are, and they look spectacular. So I'm going to go ahead. Let's start at the fun bit here. Fun bit here. I'm just going to go ahead and just load this into Melodyne while we're here. That's where the vocals start. And again, be mindful when we're using Melodyne on this type of track. If I could just remember where it is. It's not going to show up because I have that mod delay, that stereo on there. If it's not a mono track, it won't show up. Even though that's way downriver with what's going on there. So I'm just going to hit transfer on that. And I'm just going to load this in. So just because it's loaded in doesn't mean that everything's going to get tuned. We'll just be mindful of what we're nudging around. Also, high risk maneuver. I'm going to turn those off. We're just listening solo to the vocal right now too. I'm just curious. Tons of bleed. Also, because there's a little bit of phasing action going on, it sounds like maybe the vocalist is moving the microphone around. If it's handheld, 100% you're going to get some weird phase shift, comb filtering going on. If it's on a stand, even if they move back and around a little bit, you'll get different frequencies showing up in the microphone. I make jokes about being able to watch X-Files and Walking Dead and stuff while I'm working, but I can't be too distracted when I'm tuning vocals, or it takes forever. So oh, there's still some more mix bus stuff to do too. I need to make a note about that. I'm just looking right now. Because we were messing around with it. I'm liking that J37 tape machine. And I like the Abbey Road default setting on there. It's hard for me to describe what it does, but whenever I put some of those saturation things, when I put them on a track and I mute it, it's like if I notice it and it's better, let's roll with it. If I don't notice anything, then I'll just take it off. It's not doing anything. But I know you need to run stuff a little bit hotter into some of those plugins, get the saturation out of it. But I don't know, whatever it does, it sounds good. Yeah, we're missing a whole bunch of stuff on the mix bus we haven't got to yet. I would say the wide nerve EQ, the mix bus compressor, Gullfoss makes its way onto so many things. Soothe 2's made its way on a bunch of mixes the last week or so as well. I'd heard about it back, I want to say, like, Dejan would know. Dejan Martineau would know. I had him on my podcast, Dear Bands Live, last year, and or maybe the year before. And he told me about it. He's like, Soothe 2, it's like, you need it. I'm like, and I watched, he gave me like a quick demo on it because we were still online. And I was like, yeah, I need that. And then I finally picked it up last Christmas. And I just tried it like a couple weeks ago. And I was like, where has this been all my life? It's amazing. Oh, I also got the details right below. I think over here, that side. I forgot to update it last week, so if you're watching that video, it's just blurred out now. If you're watching part 1 of this, but I've updated it, and I think I actually updated it as we were going because I just best laid plans. Is that it? That's the clapping. Okay, accidentally had that on loop playback, so I'm gonna get rid of that. So we have our vocals loaded into Melodyne now. I'm going to unsolo this. How I run things in Melodyne, I use the playback. Insertion follows playback. That just makes us this little bar right here when we hit play. Wherever we leave off, it's going to skip up to. The other thing that I do, I'm just going to hit Command 1 on the number pad to bring up our transport here. I'm going to put pre-roll on 2 bars. Did we get a tempo for this? 103, yes we did. So we have the pre-roll, so we're going to start playing from here. And if we stop before here, it'll rewind. So we can kind of scrub through the song. That's the plan right now. So just going to move this so I can kind of, there we go. Now I can see the vocal track. Okay, so we're going to scrub through. Because there's so much stuff in the background, we need to be mindful that we're not just grabbing everything and snapping it to the grid. Highly recommend, use your ears. Cliche, no. And just nudge stuff around. Nudge it around. If it's a little bit flat, nudge it up. If it's a little bit sharp, just nudge it down. And try to get in there and grab that. Oh, while we're here, Pro Tools. I had a friend ask me, what do the bands think of you tuning vocals live? And I said, well, these are for educational purposes. So this is educational. They don't have much of a say. I will say though, the delivery is awesome on this song. Like the vibe is cool. Nudging around pitch and time stuff. Like I'm of the belief, and I've been taught you can raise it a letter grade. And I think this is very, very high grade to begin with. And it's live. And this is what humans actually sound like when they're singing. So we're just kind of nudging around a few of the notes, and better's better that way. But that being said, like if the performance isn't there or there's technical issues, you can only do so much with it. But this vocal is good. There's a lot of good things about it. That wasn't too bad. Oh, in case I haven't mentioned it, moving around the notes, one thing. Moving around the timing of the notes, highly recommend don't open that can of worms. Because with live stuff, with phasing issues and stuff, I wouldn't do it. Dangerous. Like, it was dangerous vocal performance here at times, but like, you gotta try it. You gotta try those things. That's how cool stuff happens. Can't play it safe all the time. first bit of the bridge. I'm gonna skip ahead here. Okay, what I think we need here for this part to make it different, I'm going to get notes here. I think we need a different vocal production. Just try something like we did some similar in the Violent Bliss track part. I think it was part 2. Episode 2. But yeah, we just treated the bridge differently. So I think that might be our workaround /out/ solution. Close. Think. Whenever I'm not sure with a vocal melody, I just think to the one before. If it was kind of the same, that's what we're doing. If I'm wrong, the band will be like, the vocal melody is incorrect at whatever timestamp it is on the export they have. I'm typing out the angry email on my desk right now. And then I'm like, cool. And then I put it back. But no one says anything about the other 90%, 97% of the song that got all fixed up. No one says anything about that. Or about me guessing the right words in the song. That's another fun one.
If you're so torn, open folded. Those who unfolded. Those who the folded. Those who the folded. Those who the days. 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 Those who the days.
Get in there. It's a weird spot in here. It's that can. It's like, just bring it down. It's like nothing will bring it down. It's like it exists, but it doesn't exist. Let's try to figure that one out. Maybe we can put a band-aid on that. It won't bring that note down. Get in there. A little bit of stuff going on there. So I'm just going to go back over to edit, restore original pitch. Because I don't know what changed too much there. Okay, so that's what it sounds like. Some vocalists sound like there's an edit on them. And that just is what it is. So I'm going to go back to the beginning here. Just have another little listen through. I think we got everything. I'd say a confident 93%. And it wasn't much. Just little nudges here and there can make a big difference. Just try to make it strong out of the gate.
took all me. And when I found the one, he took all the shame. And when I found the one, he took all the shame. And when I found the one, he took all the shame and pain away. The shame and pain away. All I can see is I blame you for loving me. All I can see, I blame you, blame you. For all the hurting, by this emptiness.
That's the bridge section. We'll just hop ahead here.
Breathing fire into the night, thinking of you. It feels so torn, open folded. Those were the days. Those were the days. Those were the days. Those were the. All I can say is I blame you for loving me. All I can say, I blame you, blame you. All I can say, I blame you for loving me. All I can say, I blame you, blame you. I blame you, blame you.
So there's a couple more spots I heard could use some band-aids, but for now, what we'll do, because we have all this loaded into Melodyne, so we need to get that out of Melodyne, at least consolidated. So what we're going to do is go to Edit. We're going to go to Track. We're going to go to, I know the hotkey. I'm just always trying to find it here. Commit, which is Shift, Option C. And consolidate clips. So this just takes everything on this track, minus the volume here. So it'll take Melodyne and it will kind of bounce it and then re-import it. So we can keep Melodyne and then make Melodyne inactive. I highly recommend doing this. My naming convention, I'm going to duplicate this. So my naming convention, the comp is just .c. And then with timed or tuned or anything like that, I just use T, that way you can read it. And I'll take this, I'll cut it. So that's Command X, paste it, Command V. So now we have our Melodyne track that's here, and we can put our effects back on. So there's the Band-Aid over at bar 105 on here.
Those were the days. Those were the. All I can say.
That can, so I'm going to turn off the insertion follows playback, turn off pre-roll.
Those were the. All I can say.
That can there. I'm just going to mute it too. Things are falling off my desk. I'm just going to mute it too. So just Command M if we want to mute just a section or just an audio clip. Let's go back to our chorus here.
All I can see.
See if we can grab that and paste this over here. Because we can see into the background there. We can just pull this over. And we'll just see if it works. If it works, fantastic. If it doesn't, we'll try something else.
All I can say. 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 All
So just that little spot there.
All I can say,
I like that better.
all I can say, all I can say,
Because the other one was pretty sharp.
all I can say, all I,
You have clip gain down here as well, so I'm just going to turn it up a little bit.
all I can say, all I can say.
So that's one Band-Aid. I can live with that. Another one is the Blame You, the little bubble that's there on that one. So that's a bar 120.
Blame you, blame you, blame, 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 blame.
That Blame You, that part right there, again, that's totally normal, but to me it jumps out and it sounds like an edit, even if it's normal.
Blame you, blame.
So maybe we can grab that. We'll go over here. And we'll just paste that on. And again, sometimes this does not work. And if it works, we just never talk about it again. We'll just listen.
Blame you, blame you, blame you, blame you, blame you,
Just try to sew it up with some fades here.
blame you, blame you,
I can buy that.
blame you, blame you.
Just turn it up just a touch.
Blame you, blame you, blame you.
I can buy that. Just a couple Band-Aids there. I could consolidate this, but I'm just gonna, actually, I'm gonna consolidate. I'm gonna highlight the whole thing and just hit Shift Option 3. That makes it a new clip. And there's another Band-Aid. I think his guitar's at 116. There's a little bit of jazz going on there.
You for loving me, you for love, you for loving me, you for loving, you for loving me, you for loving me, you for loving me.
Okay, it might be in the vocals.
Loving me, you for loving me, me.
So that's one of those times where you can hear the pitch and the bleed. I'll put the proper one back in. Just listen to the guitars.
For loving me, for loving me,
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the original back on top of there.
for loving me. All I can see, for loving me, for loving me, you for loving me. All I can see.
I think we can go to there.
For loving me, all I can see.
So that's what happens if we're not mindful about pitch correcting vocals with bleed from the band. It's gonna grab notes that are bled into the vocal mic. So just put the bad ears on and just listen. And when you hear it like that, maybe mute the vocal or maybe mute the guitar, mute whatever. Try to figure out where that jazz is coming from. And if you're doing jazz, then you're probably fine. But for right now, it's not fine. So we've kind of hit the body on that one a little bit. Some of that stuff that looks pretty good. Patterson's saying there's a new iPhone at the conference. I'm not surprised there's a new iPhone released at the Apple conference because that's a big part of the moneymaker there. Selling those phones to people. Making sure Malibu Stacy's got a new hat. Going down the list here. So with vocals, feeling pretty good about that. Rebalance, we'll not do that yet. Let's look at the drums because there's a few spots in the drums where we can just line them up a little bit better. This is where I start doing stuff. I'm going to save a new one here. I have a hotkey made for doing save as. I can show you how to do that if you need to know that. This is where you can get a little bit funny with what we're going to do. I'm going to highlight just our kick and snare. And I'm going to make this group. So I just hit Command G. And I'm going to call this snare edit. So we're just going to, in theory, if Pro Tools wants to make me look cool here, I'm going to make just a snare edit. I'm just going to make a kick edit as well. There are things that we should do and there are things that we should not do, but if it sounds better, it's in the should do pile. So I'm just going to listen through here. Because all that stuff sounds awesome. It's like, it's pretty bang on, but it sounds right. Even if it's not exactly on the same beat. 4 on the floor is really tough to do. So I'm listening for ones that are flammy. This is flammy. So what I'm going to do is I have well, I can put tab to transient on as well, but I'm going to grab this. And this is where it gets a little bit, there could be some people that would object to what I'm doing here. I'm going to grab this and grab the overheads, and I'm going to nudge them forward. Right now I've nudged it at 10,000. That is too high. I'm going to put that at 100. And I can just use the plus and minus to just nudge it over. Now, there's a gap there. Pro Tools is going to spin the wheel for a second. I can feel it. I'm going to fill all that stuff in later. I'm not going to worry about it right now. It's not important. We're just going to listen through. Same thing here. I'm just going to grab that. Hit B to break it. I'm just going to nudge it back just a little bit. It's another one. I'll grab the overhead. Sorry, I'll grab the hi-hat because there is no overhead. Same one. That's a little bit. We can nudge that. Just a little bit. We're just... Because they don't all sound the same. I have a scroll wheel on my trackball as well. That's how I'm able to do that when we're listening. I don't use the page scrolling very often. I don't know where we are now. There we are. I'm just listening for stuff really flammy. Like, of course, as soon as I open my mouth, there's something there. All right. Same thing there. We can just nudge that over just a smidge. But I forgot to bring over our hi-hat as well, because the hi-hat's going to have it's going to have that snare in it more than the kick drum.
By your grown shadow.
And now this is one where I like the way the snare sounds, but the kick drum, I feel like we could move that a little bit. So I'm just going to go behind the transient of that snare drum. I'm just going to pull her back. No, it's a touch.
Hunting my sickness.
Okay, that's one of those. This is one of those spots where I feel like you can bring all of those down. So I'm going to, I don't know why I don't have my clip gain on the waveforms. I don't know. Why it's, oh, because it's not actually, no, that should say clip gain on there. Oh, because we weren't zoomed in enough. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring those down a little bit. So this one, I'm going to bring it down, say, just because I like even numbers, I'm going to bring it down 6. I'm going to suspend my groups for a second. I'm going to copy this one. I'm actually going to consolidate that to make that just 6 dB. And I'm going to just paste over all those, because I don't feel like we need to have those as loud as the snare drum. So we've gone ahead and did that. I'm going to go back and I'm going to... Pro Tools. That one can come back a little bit. This is all the fun stuff. We're like it's a live recording. Just let it be the way that it is. But then the production side of you is like, no, let's not. I'm going to break that and just bring it back just a touch.
And when I found the one, he took all the shame and pain away.
That one again, I like.
Shame and pain away.
I think we can move the snare up just a touch.
Away. All I can see is I blame you for loving me.
Great sound in hi-hats, though. Not all hi-hats are created equal. A lot sound like garbage, in my opinion.
Loving me. All I can see, I blame you.
That can be fixed up in a jiffy. Oh, accidentally just faded everything there. That happens sometimes. That's a big one there. Can't let that happen.
For all the hurting.
Same thing again here. Same thing I hear. Same thing again here. We should be able to just paste over our kick drums. I think they're still on our clipboard. Yeah, so we'll just paste over those minus 6 dB or 6 dB down kick drums there.
By this emptiness.
Same thing. We'll just paste over those. It's played well. The footwork, that kick drum, like that's really good for not timed or anything. And this, I can move that one back. The thing with drummers, as a drummer, just be consistent, which sounds obvious. But you'd be surprised how many drummers are inconsistent with all of their limbs, not just one of them, but just like be really consistent with either your handwork or your footwork. That there, we can fix those kicks.
Breathing fire into the night. Thinking of you. If you're so.
Let's get that one. See, this is all the really, like, I'm glad everyone's here sharing this moment with me right now. We're just nudging around these snare drums.
If you're so done.
Same thing. Just if you're watching this and you're not the person, and you're not the person in your band that does the production, just like when you're out doing whatever stuff, and you're out having fun, you're at the movies, or you're playing Pokemon Go or bowling or whatever your pastime is. I know what you bands get up to. Just remember, when the person in your band doing production, this is what they're doing right now. This is what they're doing in their evenings and weekends. I forgot I did bring that. I want to bring that down even further. I'm still not feeling that extra snare drum there. Now that's too much. This is life right now. And if you are that person in your band that does the production, it's a family. And that one.
are the
I'm kind of hoping this drummer's playing all this stuff with one hand, like all this snare work. It's not actually like two-handed. It's very consistent if that's the case.
days. Those were the days. Those were the days.
Okay, that kick drum can come down. So this is the thing. I just throw all the samples in and then I do my automation after. Instead of like trying to fuss with it as it's going, I'll kind of live with it for a little bit. And then we get over there, and then I should be able to just paste over those lower kicks there. It's just underneath the snare, they jump out at me a little too much. I don't like it. Got a little disco beat here, and I'm just gonna bring, actually, I'm just gonna paste over that. There we go.
I can see. I blame you for loving me. All I can see.
That one just sounds a little bit funny. Pro Tools, there we go. So I'm just gonna get in there on that one.
I blame you, blame you.
So there's lots of lots of stuff going on at the end here. So we'll get rid of those. And we can pull this snare drum back. That's going to tighten things up a little bit. We'll see what happens here. Okay, so I'm going to turn off the tab to transient and all that kind of stuff. There's still some stuff we need to do with our drums, but I'm just going to try to fix this. Because there's a little bit of a gap here, like he's changing pedals or something. I'm just going to put it into shuffle mode. I'm just going to delete that little section there. And because we have our snare drum here, let's try to sew that up. Okay, so that little hiccup's gone now. So we have all our little, I feel like Bob Ross sometimes, like, oh, little happy edits here. So we need to sew all of these up. We've moved a couple kick drums. We've moved a couple, really easy on the eyes, actually, the way that they've got the little shadows and stuff here. So what we're going to do, I'm going to turn off groups again. I'm going to select our kick drum, our snare drum, and our hi-hat. I'm going to hit Command A to highlight everything. I'm going to open up Beat Detective. That's Command 8 on the number pad. And what I'm going to do is just edit smoothing. So I've accidentally hit a wrong button here. There we go. So this is going to, I'm going to try to zoom in here on something where it makes sense. This is going to take those little gaps there and pull them back and sew them up. That's my sewing. That's the one-handed sewing. Katie's here. How's it going, Katie? That's my one-handed how you sew something up. You just kind of just do that. So again, it's going to pull the audio clip back to take up that segment that's there. Really hope it does what I'm saying it's going to do. If not, then I can't edit this out. It should pull this back and then sew it up. So see if it does it. Let's go hit smooth here. Oh, look at that. Instantly. So it pulled that back and then sewed it up. I'm just hitting undo and redo, Command Z and Shift Command Z. So we don't need to go and sew all of that up manually. We can just use Beat Detective, because that edit smoothing in there, that's going to get that done. So you fill gap and crossfade. So that makes life a little bit easier. Katie's asking, how are you doing? I'm doing good. I think it's hilarious how, like, I'll talk all day, and then, not like all day, but anytime I go, because my lovely wife works from home as well, anytime I go into a common space, there's a conversation about something, but good stuff. But it's like, I sit down to do these live streams, and it's like I'm parched. It's like I haven't spoken since, I guess, yesterday morning on here. So that's a quick way to do all that sewing up. Now, what we can also do, because we're here, I'm going to highlight all of these. And actually, I'm not going to highlight all these. I'm just going to highlight just our kick snare and our kick snare, top, and hi-hat. I'm going to duplicate those. So we're just duplicating the playlist. I'm going to call those now .ct, so comped and timed, because we made a couple edits to them. And then I'm going to consolidate those, so we can go to edit, consolidate clip with Shift Option 3. And that's just going to make that a new audio region, so things aren't going to get shuffled around at all. And that should be good. That's going to sound better to me. We fixed our guitar over there. That wasn't on my list, but it was like kind of on my list. So if there's any more drum stuff we want to do, at least we know that we've already done some editing to it, and just cleaned it up with consolidating. I think I might be getting to a point where I might need to go to the headphones for a bit, just to kind of listen to what's going on here. I do want to try to get a I have an itch, and it's distracting. I do want to kind of find out a vocal tone, but I wanted to get the vocals kind of prepped before we start digging in too much, because there's a lot of things we can do and a lot of things we can't do with the amount of bleed that's there. So I'm going to hop out of my headphones for a little bit and mess around with this and just kind of hear, but I'm liking a lot of it and how it's sounding in the headphones. So I'm curious to hear how it's sounding outside the headphones and how it's moving air a little bit. That's one thing I do try to communicate. Like, your mix should sound decent, both quiet and loud needs to move air. You should feel it, and especially having a little bit of a dancey edge to this track, I feel like that kick needs to hit a little bit. And that's why I wanted to lean on a sample a little bit for some of those subs, those lower frequencies that were there, but also getting some lower frequencies out of that snare drum as well, and just kind of keep that kind of vibe. That's why I made my note for Float On here. That was kind of one of the references I was thinking as it was playing. So I'll be right back. I'm just going to listen out of the headphones for a bit.
He has been somewhat of a bore to me. by your grown shadow. Hunting my sickness, I walked over centuries worth of land no man could give to me. And when I found the one, he took all the shame and pain away. All I can say is I blame you for loving me. All I can see, I blame you, blame you. For all the Every day has been some all I can see. Every day has been all I can see. Blame you for loving me. All I can see. I blame you. Blame you. All I can see is I blame you for loving me. All I can see. I blame you. Blame you. All I can see is I blame you for loving me. All I can see, I blame you. Blame you. All I can see is I blame you for loving me. All I can see, I blame you. Blame you. All I can see is I blame you for loving me. All I can see. All I can see is I blame you for loving me. All I can see, I blame you. Blame you. All I can see is I blame you for loving me. All I can see, I blame you. Blame you. All I can see is I blame you for loving me. All I can see, I blame you. Blame you.
I'm looking for one preset in particular, but I can't find it. So it's not funny anymore. But I'm still going to keep looking for it. It's going to keep looking.
All I can see is I blame you for loving me. All I can see, I blame you. Blame you. All I can see is I blame you for loving me. All I can see
Okay, just a few things that I'm liking. You can see at the top, I've renamed this to reference 14th of March, aka 3.14, aka Pi Day, 2022. First version. Just gonna rename that second one because I'm liking how this is sounding. Now, this bridge here, I figured I could throw the headphones on. When we get to this bridge, two things I've not done so far. I've not put Golfos on. I don't know how to pronounce that, but it just does magical things to the top end of your mix. I have Soothe on here like 4 times because I'm trying to tame those guitars in little segments, 1,000 cuts sort of thing. Just to try to tame that guitar. And whatever gets you into the end zone sort of thing too, because you can look at what's going on sometimes. And I'm sure there's people at home, be it today or be it in the future, that will watch this and be like, what is this guy doing with these EQs and this hackery going on? You know what? Whatever it takes to get it sounding good, that's all that matters. Add center on. This is my setting. Feel free to pause it right now. I don't know. This just does magical things when you just kind of push the sides up, and it just kind of brings the mix out a little bit. And I haven't done anything with the limiter yet. I just brought that down to minus 0.2 so we can get the levels up. So should we be sending this to a client, it's nice and loud, and they're like, this sounds fantastic. It just sounds loud. So we get to this bridge part here we talked about. I was thinking maybe we can do something with the slapback delay, so I'm going to copy that. So let's hold Option and I'll drag that up. I'm thinking maybe I'm going to bypass it, so I'll hit Command and then put it in bypass. And I'll just drag this down. And then I'm going to go to mute. And then when we get... No, I'm not going to do that. What I'm going to do... Change my mind. Change my mind and approach this. I'm going to take it out of bypass. I'm going to go to the first instance of this here, and I'm going to bring that fader all the way down. There's a bunch of different ways we could approach this, but I'm going to bring the fader all the way down. I'm just going to bring the fader up on that slapback delay, or short delay, just in this section here. So I'm going to just use the trimmer tool and just bring it up. See how wacky this sounds? Pro Tools. You can just feel it when you hit play, and it just Pro Tools is like, nah. There we go. Moves like this will either get you hired or get you fired, so. And then we get out of this, it should go back to normal. Sounds different in the headphones, that's for sure. So that's the kind of craziness I was thinking. Maybe we could, just to break up the song and just to kind of give the bridge a little bit more texture, just go a little bit overboard on the slapback delay there. Pretty in the water right now. I'm able to buy that. Patterson's heading out. Have a good rest of your night, Patterson. I was just curious what that was going to sound like.
Thinking of you.
Keep pulling more with that high pass. Keep pulling it over, well, further and further, and it's just, it sounds better in the track. And when I sold it, I'm like, am I taking too much off? But listen in the track. I do probably 70% of my EQ in solo, and then the last 30 important percent, I do that when I'm listening in the track, because it doesn't matter what it sounds like in solo, but I just like to be able to hear what's actually going on. But I'm gonna hop out the headphones for a little bit longer. It's just coming together pretty good. I don't know if there's too much more. Don't want to smash it in the microphone stand here. I don't want to sabotage my thought process and my mix process, but it's sounding really good to me over here. So I'm just gonna hop out for a little bit longer.
Breathing far. All I can see is I blame you for loving me. All I can see, I blame you, blame you. For all the hurting. By this emptiness.
One thing while we're here, that guitar solo, that's got to come up. So there's a couple ways to approach it. I'm not one to just throw automation at it, so I'll show you what I do, where I duplicate the track, and then I just take that one section and just kind of fade it in and fade it out. I'll show you that. So for those wondering why I don't use automation on that guitar solo, I try to be energy efficient. Brackets, some people may think is being lazy. But if I use automation and I try to adjust these levels, it's going to snap back to where it originally was, which I think it was there. So when I have this other guitar here, which is exact copy, it's just going to make it louder. And I keep the actual plugins and everything on it. And I just fade it in, and that acts as my automation, and I can fade it out. That way, if I want to make any moves to my guitars, the relative volume of everything gets shifted with it, and then I can just hold control if I want to move one of these individual ones. Because I have the original guitar, I have the duplicate there that I use for the guitar solo for when I want it boosted, and then I have another one where I've really cut the lows and the highs, trying to just get the tone out of it. Because there's a lot of high-end stuff out of that one kind of octave up, sparkly. I don't even know how to describe it. It's pretty interesting texture, but it's really harsh. At least it's really harsh over here. I'm using NS10s in case you're wondering. So, another thing I was thinking is at the beginning, there's all this guitar stuff that's happening. So what I might do, just without even really paying attention, I'm just gonna grab all this up until the beginning. Excuse me. Grab all this stuff up to the beginning here. Actually, I can probably put it in grid mode. And I'll do the same thing here, but I'm going to copy this and paste this down here. I have this guitar right up the middle, like right in the center. So what I'm going to do is just, I'm not even paying attention. I'm just going to go to pan here, and I'm going to take this. I'm going to grab the triangle pencil tool here. I'm going to put it on bars. Let's get fancy. Let's put it on dotted half notes and see what happens here. Okay, that looks like trash. So I'm going to put this on just half notes, and I'm just going to draw this in here, and maybe we can tuck this underneath. Excuse me. And maybe it'll add a little bit of movement. If not, then we'll just do something else. There's a click in there. I'm just going to try to find it.
Every day has been somewhat of a bore to me. I wake up in the morning wanting to be loved by your grown shadow. Haunting my sickness, I walked over centuries worth of land no man could give to me. And when I found the one, he took all the shame and pain away. All I can see is I blame you for loving me. All I can see, I blame you, for all the hurting. By this emptiness. Breathing fire into the night, thinking of you. It feels so dumb, open folded. Those were the days. Those were the days. Those were the days. Those were the. All I can say is I blame you for loving me. All I can say, I blame you, blame you. All I can say, I blame you for loving me. All I can say, I blame you, blame you.
Why, thank you. Thank you. I think all songs should have applause at the end. And I'm saying that as someone who's performed live before, and at the end of the song, there's been no applause. And it's really, really awkward. Because especially when they're paying attention, and you're just like, wow, that's a whole other level if they don't like what we're doing. So I think it sounds pretty good over here. If, again, this is for educational and entertainment purposes, if I was sending this out to the band, which, again, if Bosnian Rainbows wants to send me an email, info@langford.com. Shameless plug. If they want to send me an email about any of this stuff, feel free to do that. But if I was sending this mix out to a band, I would have a listen in the morning, because especially some of the higher frequencies, you never know what they're going to sound like with fresh ears. And then also highly recommend if you are mixing. I try to keep my mix sessions to 2 or 3 hours of actually like focused critical listening and what I'm working on. And even if I feel like it's not really getting anywhere, I'll still take a break and I'll go for a walk, or I'll just take like a power nap, or just go bug the cat for a bit, or bug my lovely wife for a bit, or bug both of them and then leave the room. She loves that one. I get the cat all riled up and she's trying to work, and then I leave. So yeah, I do recommend taking consistent breaks. Know when your ears get a little bit tired. But anyways, I think this is sounding pretty good over here. So I'm not sure I'll have another part to this one, which makes me sad, but also makes me happy because I'm happy to move on to another track. Because again, I've got quite a few shortlisted that I want to get to, but this one I was pretty excited to look at it because again, guitarist from Mars Volta, Omar Rodriguez Lopez. I was pretty excited about that, but also just like the vibe of the song. And then when I opened it up and realized it was a live recording, that in itself has its upsides and its challenges at the same time. And again, there's bleed into everything. So trying to get around that. I feel like the vocal, we did okay. Talking collective, we did okay with the vocal because I feel like I actually had control over it. Sometimes with vocals, when you have a lot of bleed, you turn it up and all of a sudden you have tons of cymbals. And because of the nature of this, because the drummer wasn't using crash cymbals and wasn't, like cymbals are very harsh. And when they get into everything, so it's just a little bit of the hi-hat, but it's just that guitar got into everything. So we needed to find a way to kind of carve around that. So I think it worked out pretty good. It sounded good over here. It's moving some air over here. The beginning, there's that virus keyboard pad thing. I just did the same thing where I just duplicate it and then copy it and just kind of tuck it in underneath, and thought it sounded okay. And then without really thinking too much, I just duplicated that intro guitar part and then faded it around a little bit. So I think it sounded pretty good. I think we can move on from here. Bittersweet, always bittersweet when we get to the, I know this is only the 4th episode. There's several parts for each episode, but the 4th tune we've been working on, but I'm looking forward to starting another one. Yeah, that being said, I'll be here Thursday at noon p.m., aka 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And as always, make sure to back up your work. If it doesn't exist in more than 2 places, or 2 places or more, it doesn't actually exist. So Shift Command U, Shift Command B, remove unused regions, and then go to save copy in all audio files to make sure we grab everything. We're going here, temp backup still here. Got a backup from last time here. And I just say dot or just BU for the backup, and then do that. And it's a safe backup for everybody. That way you're not trying to fuss around and figure out, did I get all the files backed up? Just always do that. No excuse these days because drive space is incredibly affordable. So I hope you enjoyed this as much as I did. I hope you found something entertaining / educational in whatever order suits you in this. Again, we're just looking at mix sessions, lots of different ways you can make your song sound good. And I'm here just showing you some of the things, not what you should be doing, but what you could be doing to help make your production sound a little bit better. Again, we're here Mondays. Well, I'm here Mondays. Hopefully you're here too. At 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and then Thursdays at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Looking at mix sessions, what we can do to make them better. And again, I don't know how to describe it aside from warts and all. There's lots of stuff that's not pretty when we're working on them in these songs, but these are the things that are actually here. This is some of the production stuff we're actually doing, try to get our mixes together. In the comments on YouTube, if you think it sounds good, let me know. If you think it sounds bad, you can let me know too. I've got thick skin that way. I've been doing this a while, and you don't always hit it out of the park, and sometimes you end up hitting it into your own dugout, and then everyone kind of laughs, or some people get mad at you because they don't want you on the team to begin with. So thanks for hanging out here tonight. Just checking over chat a little bit. And yeah, I think that's about it. I'm going to pick another song. I'm going to pick another song to start on Thursday. And yeah, have a great rest of your evening, everybody. And I will see you on Thursday. And again, I just want to shout out again to Cambridge Music Technology for hosting all of these multi-track mix sessions. If you are a new mixer, you're an old mixer, you're looking for stuff that's outside of your comfort zone, especially because a lot of us get pigeonholed into a certain genre. So if you want to work on country or pop or hip hop stuff, urban stuff, trap stuff, rock stuff, metal stuff. Did I say country already? Bluegrass. There's lots of different things to mess around with on there. Same thing if you're an engineer and you're curious about some of the recordings that people are working with. Excellent resource. That's where I got this. Bosnian Rainbows, Morning Sickness. Loved it. Had fun with it. All right. I smell cookies upstairs. I smell fresh cookies. So I think that's also part of my cue. I should get going. Thanks for checking out tonight here on Let's Mix Live. Once again, my name is Mike Langford. I'm a producer, engineer, and mixer based in Toronto. I'll see you on Thursday at 12 p.m. Have a great rest of your night. Talk to you later.